my predictions as well. But that is the beauty of the early season, ladies and gentlemen. We don't really know where these teams stack up against one another, even if we do have the entirety of LCK Cup to go after. It's just a little bit tough. And now we're going to dive into the draft. First, we have the Varus band away, and there is the Rumble as well. Second pick chosen here by the DN SOOPers, and that means it's just a regular draft, and I love to see it.
I heard that Edo was saying, like, we're playing through topside a little bit. Please understand we're trying a lot of things. I could not feel that even a little bit in their last series, to be honest with you, Atlus. But we'll see what they want to draft here. They'll ban the Pantheon, actually, here with first pick in their hands. Karma will be taken away alongside this Orianna, so could even be looking at first pick Ryze. Yeah. See if Clozer is going to be willing to play the Anivia counter pick. Doesn't really sound like a Clozer champion to me. And in fact, they're going to push towards this Ezreal, which has been doing very well here at the LCK.
Yeah. Doesn't have the Karma alongside it, but it is still a very strong pick as Pyosik on the Vi.
Wow, it's a pretty high Vi priority early on in this series. And
especially with Jarvan still available, right? I feel like Jarvan and Vi probably similar success rates here in the LCK.
Especially because Ryze, is very immobile. I feel like picking Jarvan into the Ryze as well as denying the Jarvan Sivir would have felt great because now Diable can get his hands on Sivir. Now, he doesn't like to play Sivir, but I think Sivir is fantastic for this draft. Very safe into what DN SOOPers have already showed us. So we'll see if FEARX want to lock that one away now. They can wait till the second phase, but I think it will likely get banned if that is the case. And since the Ezreal's already showing, you got the Jarvan, you've got insane wave clear if you go for that. It's not a S-tier AD carry, but does really fit the bill for this draft. Instead,
I do like, the Neeko pick away is kind of cute, though. I think that the Ezreal Neeko, last time we saw it, did look pretty good. As there is the Cassiopeia, the answer to the Ryze. I think if it had have been something like a blind Jace, we would have seen DuDu go straight towards the Yorick, and it probably would have been all over right there. Because I trust DuDu to be able to play out that matchup well enough to become just unstoppable force in the side lane.
This to me is so much more of a Clozer counter pick than the Anivia. Like this has been the more classic pick, and it's just a pick that's in Clozer's wheelhouse. In my mind, the Anivia, I think, just is probably not for the best for him. As we'll see what these bans are going to be. Again, the Sivir is the one that sticks out like a sore thumb to me. And they'll ban Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is often picked into Ezreal when you have a range support like the Neeko that can get you through the laning phase. So I do like that ban quite a bit because they have the Jarvan.
Yep.
And they deny BNK a dive comp because that's what BNK do. They're pretty one-dimensional in that way. So actually, pretty cool ban. And they'll actually just leave the Sivir entirely and grab this Jace ban. So despite that Yorick counterpick being potentially available, I'm not going to play around that.
Nope. Maybe looking for a top lane on 4 and then give Pete a counterpick. That might be the choice here. Even though they can see the support, there is the entire lane that does need to be picked up, and there is the Alistar to be taken away.
It's got to be a Sivir pick at this point, right? They're like, yep, no range support for you. And we took away the Alistar. We have the Jarvan. As on the other side, Gnar feels pretty good here. Feels pretty safe, strong on the sides.
I don't mind that. I feel like it's a decent blind pick. Even though it has been punished in the past. That's Rakan, though.
Since the supports already face up, they are going to say, all right, we'll look for some sustain here in lane. It works well with Vi, and also works well with Cassiopeia. So really strong dive composition here on the other side. So we're kind of clashing into potential dives. But I think BNK could turn this draft around completely by just locking the Sivir. Instead, they're going to go for safety.
Yeah, Xayah does. It's similar to the Sivir vibe. I feel like Xayah is a go-back champion. And Diable is a go-forward player, and I feel like they are kind of at odds with one another. The Renekton, though, will be the blind pick here from Clear, going straight into probably a Gnar for DuDu.
If it's Gnar, I like it a lot more than the Kennen. I think if you go Kennen, you do not go AD, first of all.
Oh, please.
You have to play very carefully, and you have to be winning the game the entire time, which I think is quite tricky into this Ryze. The Gnar makes way more sense to me. It's also a great pick for Clear, so denying this pick for the rest of the series feels good as well.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I think their Wombo combo is kind of insane, and this also augments that. I think you have a little bit more trouble in the lane, but once you're out of it, the Zaahen certainly does a whole lot of work.
It's quite bold, though. It does the exact opposite of what the Gnar does in this matchup. You're opting to Have side lane pressure as the Gnar and be able to help additionally augment the already strong engage here for DN Soopers. Now you're saying, no, I'm just going to lose the lane, but I'll be more relevant in late game team fights, which is quite scary to do into this Jarvan, Ryze, Renekton composition that is going to explode through the mid game. It also has its own late game scaling conditions as well. But you know, there was like a huge ooh through the Korean commentators when that choice was made, because I think these two champions couldn't be different from each other in terms of what they do for this draft. But ultimately, I think the Zaahen is the more robust choice and the easier to pilot in late game team fights if you can get there.
Yeah, and I do think that, like, it is a pretty efficient win button when you do get later on into the game. We've seen when it is piloted effectively, that Grim Deliverance plus the extra life, it can be so difficult to remove him from the front line. And then when you've got two of these very brawly, low-range compositions going head-to-head, having that extra layer of damage and survivability is going to go a long way, I could imagine. So I'm kind of liking what the DN Soopers have here. However, the bottom lane is a little bit weaker than I would have liked for this meta. Let's get into it, though. Game number 1. My goodness. DN Soopers fans out in force today, as that was deafening. So let's see whether they can take that energy and turn it into a victory, as the DN Soopers on a 2-match losing streak so far after winning their very first one.
It's an incredibly full house here on Sunday. I mean, I know we only have, like, it doesn't, there's only a certain number of seats. It can't be, like, more full than full, but it feels like with the energy we have, especially with these two squads, I'm not throwing shade on them, but like this feels like it's a T1.
Yeah, T1 ain't playing. Yeah,
of fans today, so that's awesome on a Sunday afternoon. The weather is phenomenal, but everyone decided not to touch grass and to come to the LCK instead.
No. They got all their grass touching done early,
sure,
and then came to the LCK. That's obviously how it works. It's like eating your veggies before the main course. You know, you can just get the more difficult thing out of the way, and then you're having fun. And that's precisely what we're doing here, as it may not necessarily be that much fun for the DNS bottom lane to begin with, but Rakan is, maybe I'm giving him a bad rap, can sometimes actually navigate a lane relatively well, especially if you are on point with your gleaming quills.
Ghost here for Diable is a choice that he's made over the barrier, so he's going to be able to really chase down and follow up really aggressively, not only in potential lane ganks, which Raptor is heading for a potential one right now, but also in later team fights. Also gives him a little bit more mobility. He's already got a lot of added safety, and Cleanse doesn't really help you into the specific CC you're facing here into DNS, so I like that a lot. Raptor is just going to set up counter jungling early here and invade this Gromp. They had an early ward, and they know the timing. They know Pyosik started red buff here, and he's, I think, just going to get away with this for free. No consequences.
Yeah, and even able to come on over and possibly challenge for this blue buff as well, as Pyosik standing on that ward is looking to try and get in there, but misses the Vault Breaker. That's a lot of damage that he is now missing, as deokdam gets on over to try and push Raptor away. Does mean that the bottom lane does have to abandon the lane, and Raptor making his way back because he knows that deokdam and Peter have to go back to that wave.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically Raptor using his health bar here to deny CS and mess up that bottom lane, and now Pyosik is just not going to get his blue buff here.
Yeah, Vault Breaker is going to get challenged, as Pyosik almost flashed for that. You could feel it. Kellin does get himself out of there. He does have to expend his flash in the process. Still, decent little advantage here, especially for Raptor in this early game.
Clear here is going to be winning this early lane unless he makes a mistake. This is his best champion in my mind. I've said it before, but I'll say it one more time. I really think Clear is just legit good now. I think he's actually very consistent. And you know, this is a lane that he needs to win and generate pressure through for this draft to work. The bottom side, they've already found success there in denying that blue buff from Pyosik. So triple buff on the cards here for Raptor. You can see that Neeko has turned things around a little bit here and is actually on a bit of a winning streak at the moment.
Yeah, was struggling a little bit earlier on, but has since found a fair bit of success. As in goes Peter, looking for a little bit of damage towards Kellin, but Kellin not going to be too worried. The wave should be crashing, as Kellin is doing his best to hold onto it. Good little snare connects onto Peter there, as not going to get feathered. But still, some relevant damage. As Daystar gets poisoned, Clozer having a pretty good time landing these noxious blasts. Oh dear, another snare comes through as he does have to get himself out of there. The flash forward from Diable though! And that is going to be first blood over to the bloodthirsty AD carry in the bottom lane for FEARX.
And he has Ghost. He's just got that one on lock 100%. 10 out of 10 times. You make that mistake, get rooted, you are just going to die. He had to use his flash in exchange, so he is down flash into the Ezreal, but with the kill, I think he feels pretty good about that exchange, and he has a cull to cash in here as well. So Diable is going to be exploding through the mid game. He is absolutely in a fantastic spot now. Already had that extra pressure in lane, but puts himself in a 600 gold lead now.
Yeah, absolutely gigantic. And you saw deokdam actually missed a bunch of CS as well as it was crashing into the turret. Just a very awkward time as he hasn't been back yet to grab a Sheen, or hasn't even got his tier stacking yet. This Ezreal is looking a little worse for wear as Peter turns up in the mid lane alongside Kellin. And they are just going to be trading blows back and forth. It looks like wave control will be there for Daystar, who at the check-in is looking all right. 4 CS in the lead. The wave will be taken down by Clozer, and so things will equalize, but still not a bad move at all as DuDu, he's got the Bramble Vest, and Clear has gone for the Executioners. We've seen this exact item buy in this exact matchup before.
Both of these champions want to deny healing against each other, if possible, as we do have another aggressive move here from Raptor. It's not going to be an invade into the jungle, as that hasn't respawned yet, but he's focused on Dragon. But this is just a little bit of greed here from Peter. He steps forward, gets rooted, and he's just 100% dead here. Diable follows for the flash, has the Ghost for the movement speed. There's nothing really Peter could do to outplay there.
Nope.
Arguably, maybe should have just saved his summoner, but...
And maybe he should have just gone back instead. Maybe just cancel you back, run away, and don't try and look for anything overly aggressive. But Pyosik, we're going to come on in here and deny Clear, who does slice around. Won't be able to take a crab or anything like that, as the Drake is taken, so Pyosik knows this crab is his. And he will be able to take that one away. Still, first Drake going over to BNK FEARX, as well as the next one being a mountain. Could be Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's a bit of fun.
This does continue to be Edo fibbing in his interview where he says they're playing through topside, by the way, just to put it out there. But Diable is massively ahead. They got the early Dragons. Oh god, another root.
Kellin is actually playing like a man possessed today, finding so many of these roots. Magnetic. And this bottom lane is getting obliterated.
And I mean, it just gets worse and worse here for this bottom duo for DNS, and they lost the Drake so early that now BNK can play through their topside winning lane Renekton to challenge Grubs. And they have a Ryze in this game, so side lane power is already pretty real. And I mean, the game state just is horrible right now for DNS. And the individual Drake they picked up here is Infernal as well, so those stats are relevant. Raptor's coming for another pass. Realm Warp in.
In comes Daystar. Let's see what he can actually find as the Rune Prison goes down. Raptor catches up to him. The barrier is decent, but deokdam is still going to die. Featherstorm comes in from Diable, and that's going to allow him to take a kill before dying himself. 2-for-1 trade in the bottom lane.
Definitely worth it, though, at the end of the day. Second kill goes over to Diable. And a kill goes over to Daystar on the roam, utilizing that mid-prio incredibly well. Clozer did not have TP. So you can see on the minimap, Clozer backed. So this is a perfect opportunity. They've already preset this. The wave is crashing. He knew that with the back timing of the Cassiopeia, he can come down here. And there's no summoner, well, no flash, that is to say, for Peter. And he just cannot outplay. Diable resets the aggro, but still picks it up there to secure the kill. So unfortunately goes down. Could have been played a little bit better there, I suppose, so he would have lived, but still very happy with the exchange.
Yeah, I don't think they're too worried about it. And, you know, hindsight is 20/20 and all that sort of stuff. Still, Clear pressing his R button will be able to get this wave shoved in at least, and utilizing the ultimate.
Look where he's headed right now, Raptor. Right towards the Grubs, they push in the top lane, and now something has to give here.
Oh dear, well, they're going to look for Diable as True Shot Barrage came in to help out, and Pyosik, one last punch is going to do it, so Diable punished yet again.
Finally, they get something here in the jungle that's proactive on their side. They knew the lane was pushed in. They knew Raptor was heading up to Grubs, so it's a good rotation from Pyosik. He knows that Diable is flashless and ultless, and so it's a pretty simple gank for him to pull off there. Raptor will get the Grubs, so arguably stronger overall, but at least they don't give it up for free, and they push the Xayah out of the lane. And now deokdam picks up, you know, he's got a gold lead here technically. It's basically dead even, but it's no longer a monumental deficit down here on the bottom side. And Kellin, unfortunately, is just kind of zoned away here, thus not able to come over and help. The True Shot Barrage is lined up. Very simple here for DNS.
Yeah. And they knew that the Feather Storm was on cooldown as well from that previous play. So that one was a pretty comfortable one. You could imagine that Diable was feeling pretty safe standing underneath his turret waiting for that wave to crash in, knew that he was vulnerable, but just didn't know that he was going to get killed right where he stood. So nice little move there from Pyosik, gets himself the kill as well. And we'll be heading towards that first item pretty quickly. Raptor as well, getting closer and closer. And then we'll have some sundering of the skies and things like this. Daystar holding onto this wave up against Clozer quite comfortably. But Clozer is putting the CS numbers together, just isn't quite able to challenge when it comes to getting around this map as quickly as the Ryze. Already Daystar utilizing it.
Clear is proxying, by the way, on the other side of the map. Like, they have so much control right now. He did not have to TP. DuDu has to TP. He is up a level right now on his opposition in the top lane, and it looks like he's even going to go for a potential wraparound play. Like, look at the minimap. Look at Clear.
Yeah. I think he's just going to go grab the other one.
Get the extra proxy. He's just untouched here, and they pulled Pyosik down the bottom side, so he knows he can do this. They're winning on both sides of the map so hard right now, and Daystar has showed up.
Oh, and now you've got DuDu doing the same thing. Gromp going to be stolen away here by Raptor relatively successfully, as Kellin looking to stop some backs. True Shot Barrage connects onto 2, but isn't going to do any lasting damage. And yeah, DuDu's like, well, if that's the game we're playing, I will do the same thing, as he does now look for a reset of his own.
The scary thing for DNS is they knew that Clear could have TP'd to that fight on the bottom side if he wanted to, and also could have TP'd back to his turret with a Realm Warp from Daystar to defend the proxy from DuDu. DuDu gets away with it, and he's very happy for it. He's evened up the CS quite substantially there with that, but could have been way worse, like if they collapsed onto him or if DNS had committed to the bottom side play. I think it's just a zero-sum game, and they just have to sit back and scale now with their Cassiopeia Ezreal. And again, the Zaahen will be so relevant later on. Just right now, BNK are playing through this early game phenomenally.
Yeah, I also think that Peter is going to be a lot more relevant later on in the game as well. The quickness is so good at setting up for Petrifying Gaze because it makes you face a certain direction as Cease and Desist comes down from Pyosik, looks for Daystar as an opportunity there, but he might get challenged as, I don't know about that one from Kellin, kind of misses as he does flash to pick up the double root. Never mind! I take it all back. I was not familiar with your game, my friend, as there's the knockup from Raptor as well. Clozer gets taken down, and Daystar picks up a double killing spree for the new player in the mid lane for FEARX.
I mean, FEARX are just running away with this one now. The gold lead itself isn't massive, but with the eye test, with the coordination we are seeing with this roster, how they're utilizing this draft, it's just beautiful, frankly. And now going to be able to grab their second dragon of the game on top of those additional kills, and the lead just gets bigger. As meanwhile, it looks like Clear might even try to start a red buff and take that away. I'm with you on this Kellin play. It looked like there was a great flash opportunity here, but he holds it, plays patiently, because they've already kind of got this on lock, right? Like, if he doesn't commit his ultimate there, he might even be able to get even more here with the flash ult. So that's the bigger issue, but ultimately still gets the root, still sets up Daystar for success. They get another follow-up root here with a Rune Prison. And Clear, he's hanging out, but they don't even need his help.
Yeah, and they all, like, Kellin even baited Peter into engaging onto him. So like half the buttons from this Rakan just didn't really do anything. And the flash that Kellin did end up going for was incredible. Like, I don't know how he came up with that as being the right choice on the fly, but damn, did he make it look good. As Clear, slicing and dicing, will be able to pick up the minion wave. DuDu just kind of wishing that things were going better elsewhere. It is Earth, Wind, and Fire, which we all very much like here at the LCK broadcast.
Yeah. You know, how many of our fans actually know that's a musician, or are you just reading off Elemental Drakes?
I mean, I think it's fine either way, you know? Because I am reading off the Elemental Drakes as well
and also we all do really enjoy these 3 Elemental Drakes.
Yeah, they're good Drakes, you know, and you end up walking real fast at the end.
You're saying a lot of things that are all true all at once.
Yeah, and then it can mean more for some people. And then that's totally okay. If you're not familiar with Earth, Wind, and Fire, guys, just go and watch Groove tonight. As now, Daystar is in a lot of trouble. He gets punched. There is the Petrifying Gaze as well, and down will go the Ryze. Punished after that killing spree that he picked up before, as DNS fully overload the mid lane.
Yeah, Okay, this is a bit of an extension from Pyosik.
Yeah, there's a double knock-up from the Pop Blossom as they will be able to take down Pyosik. Kellin able to make his way out as deokdam extraordinarily low and clear just comes over and culls the Meek. Peter gonna have to get himself out of there as there's some grim deliverance from DuDu to try and pick up the kill. Does manage to grab the Xayah here, but is unable to do too much more other than that, and it is another win for FEARX.
Clear finally TPs, finally gets to use his button, finally gets to show up to a fight, and he makes a huge impact there. I liked how this started for DNS, right? Like, Daystar's up here, Peter's got a nice wraparound angle, he knows the Ryze doesn't have flash from that earlier mid play. Pyosik gets in, gets the ult, and you could just stop right here. You could just stop right here and be like, all right, cool, all right, let's go back to lanes, you know, small win.
And they can see this. They have vision everywhere.
Watch this from Raptor. They're all grouped up. He gets the three-man into the three-flag drag, and Diable is like, I'm Xayah, I'm loving it. And then Clear's like, finally, I actually get to touch the champions. I've been bullying a Zaahen all game. And, you know, it's a trade back here. DuDu does end up getting the kill, which is big for him. It's a 4-for-2 in the end, but the money just keeps going up for BNK.
Yeah, and I'm just happy that Raptor's back, you know? He had that Neferi play, and we thought that maybe it was just the Raptor time is just the LCK Cup, and that's it. That play, hitting everyone with the flag and drag, just gorgeous, and utilizing the Cataclysm also phenomenally well. So I am very interested to see what he can do with the rest of this game, and then with the interview that we'll have with him after he picks up POM.
I think that it's important to remind people that in-game, you cannot see the gold numbers, right? You could see the dragons in your tab screen, right? You could see the kills, but I don't think DNS were so far behind they needed to hard force there. But now, they certainly are. Maybe they should hard force after this, because now your win cons are so narrow, and your Ezreal no longer has a slight gold lead. It's a gold lead for everyone here for FEARX, so yeah, it's a bit of a disaster for Pyosik on that one.
Not a whole lot of fun, as Grim Deliverance is going to try and deliver DuDu to safety, but he doesn't even have the passive charged up. In they go, slicing and dicing, and that is a freebie over to Daystar. Clozer here just trying to do what he can to get any money on the map here. Takes some plates and might be able to get this turret, but
I don't think he's going to win the race.
Yeah, it's close to a 4,000 gold lead. It's going to be extended ever further as first brick does go over to FEARX. They've got 2 Drakes in pocket, and the next one's going to be up in 40 seconds time.
So many of these team fight wins for FEARX have just been straight up defensive ones, punishing DNS. Obviously in the early game, they had a lot of wins around those scrappy fights on bottom side. They won lane, they got prio, and it's crazy that with a lead like this that they have, it's first brick going down now of all times. It just goes to show that they have been winning everywhere. It's not one specific lane they smashed so hard that they're like, okay, we got the turret super early, we have that lead because of it. The lead gets even bigger as we have a fight here.
Yeah, Pop Blossom going to connect onto just Peter, but they're going to turn it onto Pyosik. Oh man, he is just cut up like butter. And deokdam does make it to his turret, but I don't think there's safety there, as they've got all of these Void Mites even coming down. Shelly going to help out the Void Beast just to destroy everything here on the DNS side of the map. Down goes the mid-outer turret, and I don't think they're stopping just yet. We'll see whether it's going to be another charge. And here it is. It's going to be Pyosik was dead. No smite available to stop Shelly in her tracks, and I think they might even continue and take down this inner turret at the same time, moving this gold lead to about 7,000 in pre-20 minutes. That is gigantic. Petrifying Gaze, though, is going to connect onto Daystar, who does have to flash to get himself out of there, but he's going to be held into position by Peter, who does have that quickness running. That's Clozer picking up a kill for himself.
The Dragon, though, is getting taken here by Raptor in the interim, so he will get soul point here for BNK, so it's such a small win for DNS of the grand scheme of things. At least they are able to get that, and in Daystar's defense, he had Seraphs already, so he thought he was probably going to be pretty safe to play up that forward. Pyosik here, I want to see this flash. Okay, gets out of the Pop Blossom. That's where he used it. I thought he messed up the flash on the Cataclysm at first glance, so there's just too many threats, you know, gets out of the Pop Blossom, but ultimately there's another circle to avoid. Daystar gets caught on the edge of this.
Just on the edge.
Honestly, he's got Seraphs as well. Like, I can't even blame him.
That was exceptionally close, but he had clicked back towards the Cassiopeia, so I'd say that it's on him. As Raptor will be clearing out the rest of his jungle once again. For me, maybe it's actually a battle between Raptor and Kellin. For POM if FEARX are able to continue this form throughout this series, because Kellin has had a real resurgence in this series so far. Even if the Neeko play was kind of eclectic at the beginning, you know, just kind of ignoring his ultimate, not allowing that one to be the thing that wins the fight and finding that route so beautifully. I think that that moment is just living in my head. But every other Pop Blossom has been such high value from this guy.
Everyone except deokdam is obviously incredibly low range on this composition here for DNS, so it makes Neeko really strong even with her basic abilities when you have this much map control. Diable has no fear. He has his summoners back up. He has his ultimate, so he can push all the way up to this inner and take it out. Now they could even look to collapse onto DuDu potentially. DuDu needs to be really careful. There's a lot of plates on this turret, but he's going to need some friends if they do go for a potential dive. The topside play here has been the angle for DNS. They're trying to get this top turret and get that bounty. They had a lot of vision up there. Pyosik is shadowing Clozer, but it's still 4 plates. I don't think they're going to be able to get this, and Diable's rushing over. They need to leave. In fact, now TP from Clear.
Yeah, Clear going to make his way in. The teleport, the back is going to get stopped here by Pyosik. They're looking for the angle, but Daystar is moving up here. Teleport to come forward from DuDu to deliver him to the fight as the flash was a little early. Cease and desist does go over that wall. Great quickness there from Peter to hold the Crocodile in place, and he will finally go down as there's some Grim Deliverance coming on through from DuDu, looking to chase down Daystar, who gets that Seraph shield, and DuDu just has to get out of there. The turret got mad, and the Zaahen gonna have to leave as now the rest of FEARX have turned up. Let's see what they can collect as far as stragglers here, as there's the ward going over the wall, and it looks like they are just gonna play it safe.
So this was actually a really good play from DNS. They tricked BNK because in this moment, I think the correct macro play is what BNK do, is this True Shot Barrage timing. Pretty crazy. They are going to start this Baron and then decide not to do it, which I think is the correct call. Daystar does have his Realm Warp, but they're going to back away. But I think what BNK did to respond to that play there on the top side was actually what almost any team would do, right? And I think they even knew there was a control ward here. So like, all right, Clear's going to come up. We have Pyosik hiding here, and we have the Zaahen TP, and they're not going to be able to match the rotation. So this is actually really well played by DNS. DuDu gets in here and pushes on to Daystar, and they win the scrappy fight before Raptor can show up, before Diable can get here. But it's just too little too late, right? It's the correct play, it's a sick play, but it doesn't lead to a turret take. You know, it almost leads to DuDu's death. And unfortunately, it's just a trade of teleports and a single kill, and that alone is not going to be enough.
Nope. As Daystar might be pushed up a little far considering Pyosik's positioning, but he is a very strong Ryze at this point in time. He's getting ready to actualize, but does need to complete that item. Diable as well is looking for item number 3, Infinity Edge, to come through very, very soon on this Xayah. Still has a very large gold advantage, in fact the largest on the Rift thus far. Which, if you had to quiz me, I'd probably say that it was going to be someone else, as he does pop the cease and desist. As Peter goes in, they're looking for the angle here, as they should be able to take down the Jarvan, and there goes Raptor. Now, Diable looking for an angle here, but doesn't have the ultimate anymore. Does need to be very careful. It does hold on to his flash.
In 1 minute, I mean, DNS can get some prio here. This turret in the mid lane is really healthy. That's the biggest problem for them, and I don't think they have enough damage to do Baron. They may just send it, though.
They've got a Cassiopeia. She certainly does cut through the Baron very effectively, but FEARX, they have everyone else. And now the Pop Blossom comes in, locks up 3 of them. As into the backline goes Peter, they take down Diable, and DuDu is now playing defense. Daystar loses that shield now as Kellin trying to do what he can, and Clear's going to have to get in there if they want to stop this. But Pyosik's alive, he has the smite, and down will go the Baron. The DN SOOPers, they pull off the heist and get everyone out.
It's an incredible petrifying gaze from Clozer that saves the fight. So watch this once again. This is really greedy from Diable. They have a lot of vision around the left side of the Baron pit and one award above the top, but they just really should not have been this far up. It's ultimately Raptor who pays for his sins. Daystar is an awkward Realm Warp. But watch this Pop Blossom into Clozer. So Clozer gets caught here. Watch this. Boom.
Oh,
that double saves the game for DNS, because then they could push them away and now take this Baron, and now suddenly we have a game of League of Legends.
Exactly. Raptor is going to come in and see. Oh, okay. He's going to come in and then he's going to leave. Immediately, they are not going to sacrifice themselves for this one Cloud Drake, and they have Soul Point for the next quite a while, as there were none picked up by DNS earlier, so they did not need to die on that hill.
You and I are on the DNS side of things, but man, we mentioned it earlier, the crowd is lit up right now with this potential comeback, and Clozer's even on items with Daystar. You know, he's been ahead on experience for a while now. The Rod of Ages has completed for Daystar. He's just naturally almost a whole level ahead of him. He will have level 16 pretty soon. this feels like a basically dead even game at this point now, as the Zaahen starting to become a real threat in team fights. BNK need to be very careful. They're playing still through Prio here against this Baron, getting deep vision set up. There's not that much gold going over to DNS from this Baron just yet, but if they lose a fight, a scrappy fight in the jungle right now, trying to overextend here to try to deny this Baron, DNS really will take over this game because there's so much standing gold on the map. That mid turret still 5 plates, top turret still available.
Yeah, this is the crazy thing. This Baron can be very high value if the DN Soopers can use it correctly. And DuDu going to be rotating up here, looking to try and get a bit of a dive happening towards Diable. He does have his Featherstorm back available. His Flash is still up. I think this Xayah should be relatively safe, but you can see that Crystalline Overgrowth pops for a fair bit of damage on this outer turret. And the DN Soopers, not a whole lot of sieging potential, unfortunately.
Yeah, not quite. And this Baron has kind of been a bit of a weak one in terms of the Red Bull power play, because they didn't have any push in the top lane, mid lane, everyone grouped, and they have decent wave for themselves with this Ryze. So
yeah, Baron from behind just isn't quite as much of a swing as it used to be, because you do certainly need to collect yourself some map control at the same time.
Kellin's lurking. They do not know about this, but they are going to play safe. Thought perhaps we might see a bit of a Neeko engage with that rocket belt.
Yeah, another 20 seconds until the Baron has worn off, but you've got DuDu moving it towards the top side of the map. Maybe they can take those last 2 plates from the outer turret. DNS, just pick up this wave. You've got another one conga lining, but it's a while away, actually. So maybe need to focus towards the top lane without a Baron, as that has just worn off.
BNK, I think, should be willing to give this up. Let this pressure point go. Give the top turret. Do not force a fight here. Even though Raptor has his ultimate, he does not have Flash. They do not have a lot of control. Just let DNS say, okay, all right, look, you have your Baron's gone. You got this top turret. Crystalline Overgrowth going to proc here. DuDu's going to deny some of these minions first, actually. In fact, so he's just going to let it naturally die. Yep, but that's not game-breaking for you. You fight that, lose that fight, that could be. And that's a good moment of restraint here for BNK, for a roster that has very often shown inability to show restraint in critical moments.
The issue that I have, though, Wolf, is that it's now down to a 0 gold lead, basically. 1,000 gold at 26 minutes doesn't really mean much of anything at all.
Basically 0.
And DNS have a pretty fantastic team fighting composition, right? I think Rakan is going to be a little bit more valuable come this stage of the game, given the low range of this FEARX composition. And so that quickness really can do a number on the enemy team, especially if Clozer's Petrifying Gazes continue to be as good as they have been.
And some of the fights, I mean, really most of the fights that BNK won to get us to this lead were those defensive ones I was talking about, those punishing ones, and Raptor was able to get, 3-man Cataclysm, 3-man Flag Drag, punishing the mistakes and the overextensions of DNS in skirmishes, but in 5v5s, they haven't really won a single fight just yet.
Ooh, okay, we're going to look for a little bit of a fight angle. A cease and desist onto Raptor. True Shot Barrage does come down as well, as there's the Blast Cone. Clozer even getting a Twin Fang over onto this Jarvan, as Daystar has to get himself out of there. In the meantime, though, DuDu is just completely obliterated. And Daystar, yeah, you're not going to be realm warping out of the miasma. That will hold you in your tracks, as Peter might be dying. Never mind, is going to survive for the moment. But now the rest of the Sharks are circling here. There's a flash in from Clear. Petrifying Gaze once again, but the Pop Blossom's even better this time, though. deokdam is able to stand his ground, and Diable is looking to dive forward and put them down. He had so much money, and finally he has an opportunity to spend it. As deokdam is trying to run his way out, does get the Arcane Shift, but I have a feeling they are prolonging the inevitable as the slice from Clear comes through, and Diable is able to lock him down. That's the ace for FEARX, and we were a little bit worried after that Baron went the way of DNS, but FEARX find their angle once again.
Daystar draws so much pressure in this fight. To me, he actually wins this fight for them, because look at how much damage he does. Raptor escapes, he has so much mobility, and he just basically baits him, gets the exhaust, while the Zaahen is just like, oh, I seem to have teleported onto the wrong side of the fight.
Well, the rest of his team just left him to die.
And Daystar is just like the Pied Piper, man. Or what's the guy who plays the flute and they follow him? I don't know who that is, what story that is, but anyway.
Yeah, that's the Pied Piper.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought, but I think. Anyway, he was the Pied Piper in this metaphor. They followed him, and then this fight is just impossible for DNS to win, right? But it's a beautiful engage from Kellin this time around. And then deokdam just gets trolled by everything. He barely escapes the pullback here, but the Raptor's like, I got speed up from the Scuttle Crab. Doesn't have red buff, but it does not matter because he's got a kite back. Diablo's got red buff. He's wrapping around. Clear is here. There's no way out.
Yeah, deokdam just felt like he might just try to kill the Xayah on his way out. That wasn't going to work. We do have everyone back on the map, though. And Cloud Soul has been picked up for FEARX, which you can imagine as far as a team like this is concerned, they probably like the run fast streak. It allows you to just start even more fights. And they're going to do so as DuDu is just dead. Not a whole lot of answer there.
Yeah. Daystar is so tanky with you know, the Seraphs and the Rod of Ages that I don't think you should be chasing the Ryze there.
No.
It's the TLDR on that last fight. Now we're going into Baron where DuDu is not here. Pyosik does not have Flash. He is Vi, but I don't know if he really even gets an opportunity for a 50-50.
No teleport option from DuDu as well after that 30 seconds. So the Baron is just going to get destroyed. Realm Warp to come through as well as Kellin finds another gorgeous flank. Clear gets on top of them. It's a triple for Diable. As it's like he's knocking over dominoes, man. The setup from this team is so much better in this series.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm leaning Kellin right now, I'll be honest. It's
yeah.
been great from both of them.
18 out of 20 as well. I mean, it's 19 out of 20 for Raptor, so if you're going to do it based on kill participation, maybe he gets it, but
Diable
I'm still feeling Kellin
as the AD carry, pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a good point. As all right, deokdam just going to try to convince them to leave his Nexus turrets alone. I just don't think they're going to listen to this Ezreal who's 5,000 gold behind. Never you mind. Now it's Diable just going to put him in his place, and there will go those Nexus turrets. FEARX, maybe it is time for us to welcome them back to the LCK after their brief hiatus as they put their second game win on the board.
Now they did beat DNS, who's just one place above them, right? This is not them toppling a top 3 team or anything like that, but the performance we saw makes you wonder if they could have.